friends, and welcome to Stronger Every Day. Today we're going to talk about what I kind of refer to as the fix-it syndrome, or what did I do to cause someone I care about to have depression and anxiety. Personal experience for me, there is nothing that I can pinpoint. Mr. Colt wants to say hello. There's nothing that I can pinpoint to say that's what did it. It's been many things over the years that have just led up. Now, as it's went on for the past 27 years, sometimes there's an event that happens that can kind of trigger it and kind of send me into a downward spiral, or to start in that direction. We've talked about ways to stop that. Sometimes it's seemingly nothing that I can really identify. So I know for a lot of people, let me start with this. It's a statistic. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 17.3 million adults have had a depressive episode at least one time every year. 17.3 million adults. So while some people act like this isn't a big issue, 17.3 million people that admit to it would say otherwise. Now, I post on YouTube, but I also post on Instagram. I have an account over there, and when I do tags, I'll tag depression, mental awareness, anxiety, Christians with mental health. I forget the exact tags. And what's very interesting to me is under depression, and I don't have these figures written down, I'm kind of going off the top of my head. Under the depression tag, there's like 24 million tag, where things have been tagged under that. Anxiety is about 20 million. Mental health is, I think, probably more than both of those combined. But Christians with mental health is less than 1,000 posts. And I just find that interesting that a lot of Christians want to pretend that it's not an issue because they're embarrassed and ashamed because they've been told that they're doing something wrong. I got to thinking today as I was taking my medicine, I have a hole in my heart. And I've had it probably since birth, and there's a potential for it to cause a stroke. And I have to take a baby aspirin every day as a preventative and just have it checked, every now and then. And no one has ever told me that I'm a sinner because I have a hole in my heart. And the same with my thyroid and my low iron. No one has ever told me that if I would just pray a little more, get a little more in the Word, that I wouldn't be this way. One thing I think that's really hard for people that love us as people who suffer from these mental illnesses is they want to fix it. They want to make it better. They want to know, what have I done? What have I done to make him or her be this way, and how can I fix it? I know my husband and a best friend of mine that's been my best friend for 20 years have thought that. I know my dad has said, well, is somebody doing something? Is somebody saying something to you? Is somebody hurting you? They want to fix it and make it better, and there's nothing I can pinpoint on that. Obviously, people as humans, we do hurt each other occasionally, and most of the time it's not something we mean to do. We do it. We're in a bad mood, we're having a bad day, and we kind of snark a response to somebody, and that's not our heart. We love them with everything we have, and sometimes they do the same to us. Sometimes we fail friends, and sometimes they fail us. That's not what I'm talking about here. We all need to learn to love each other and give each other grace and know that we're human and we're going to make mistakes. And I've told people in my life before, I hope you realize that if I have a moment like that I do love you. I'm just having a bad moment. That's not an excuse, but I don't want you to think that you've done anything wrong. I think that's a big stigma with mental health, is when when we're in a season of deep depression and anxiety and having seasons of this, that people think, well, I must have done something, and then they carry a guilt and want to know what they can do to make it better. And sure, you can love on the person a little more, or maybe give them a little bit more space, or maybe pick up a few more chores, or maybe take over some of the responsibility. There's little acts of love and acts of kindness that you can do that help, and that just comes with knowing the person and knowing how they're going to respond to things. But I think it's very important to know that most of the time, now I'm not talking about all cases, there's definitely cases that people have physically hurt or harmed. There's sexual abuse, there's mental abuse, there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's trauma that has caused, obviously, a depressive moment in someone's life. What I'm talking about is the everyday, day-to-day, and there's several factors that can lead into what causes mental illness, and so I wanted to touch on just a few today. Number one would be biology. So biology and genetics, 1 and 2. So gender, age, physical illness, ailments, health, all can kind of play a part. Genetics can also play a part depending on what study you read. Most of the numbers are somewhere in the area of 40 to 60% that genetics can play a part in developing depression and anxiety, mental illness. Number 3 would be the environment. So noise, air pollution, green space. You know, I'm very blessed in the fact that, this hair is going to have to go up. I'm very blessed in the fact that we live on a homestead and we have land all around us. We do have people, but we have mostly land all around us, and it's green, beautiful space, animals grazing. We're getting ready to do a garden, just a lot of things going on here, and I'm very blessed on that. And sometimes not everybody has that. You look out and you immediately see a neighbor and a neighbor and a neighbor on all corners and sides of you. It's a lot of concrete, it's a lot of smog, it's a lot of fog, it's a lot of just not pleasurable things necessarily to look at. There's not a lot of green, beautiful, open space, and that's hard. It's kind of like when we have depression and we tend to want to withdraw, right? We want to just kind of sink into our homes and not go outside and see what all's out there, the beauty that God's provided out there. And so we kind of retreat inside, and so you're taking away that natural light. I thought about today, I'm gonna have to put this hair up. I thought about today about filming outside, because it's not necessarily warm here. I'm in Tennessee. It's probably 45, 50-ish, but it's beautiful and sunny. And I thought about going outside today and filming outside, and a couple factors changed that. The goats are talking pretty loudly today, so you would obviously hear them in the background. And then we've got some other farm animals kind of around and about that are just talking and happy today. It's nice and pretty outside, so I decided to come back into the same old spot that you see me in. But yeah, environment can definitely cause some mental health issues. Another one is lifestyle, so social activities. And you know, when you are depressed and having a season of depression, a lot of times we want to withdraw. Sometimes we want to throw ourselves into kind of a party lifestyle where we can try to numb what's going on in our mind. So either or, but social activities and social things. I'm bad about this. I want I'm more of an introvert anyway, and then when I'm not feeling my best, I want to stay home. I don't want to get out, and I was feeling that way actually a little bit earlier this week, and 2 sweet, lovely, beautiful friends of mine, we do it's called a bingo party. and this sweet lady hosts it, and she sells different products, and you go in and you play bingo, and it's just a good time. It's just a good time. And you get to win prizes, and then if you want to buy something, you can. She cooks an amazing dinner for everyone. She's a very good cook. And just the bonding with those two, like well, all the ladies that come, it's just fun. And when I had forgot that it was this past Monday, and I remember when one of my friends texted me about it, my immediate thought was, I don't want to get out. And then I thought, no, you actually love this. You love going. You love spending time with them. And I tell you what, this time that we went was the best time I've had in any of the times we went. We talked, we chatted, we just learned about each other, and just spent time being gracious with each other and loving each other. And it was such an amazing time. But I had to kind of make myself get out of my, I don't want to leave kind of thing. So just getting out, even if that means going for a walk with a friend, or one of your fur babies, or your spouse, or going to a park, going for a hike, going for a drive. I know gas is expensive, but maybe there's a little area, you know, just explore your county or your city. Maybe it's going shopping. Maybe it's, you know, there's all kinds of things that we all love that we can get out to do. But sometimes you just kind of have to, nope, you're going, you know, and typically you're going to enjoy it once you get out. I know that's difficult because, like I said, my very first thought was, I don't know that I want to go. And then automatically I thought, yes, you do. You love it. You enjoy it. So keep in mind that can also help, or that can also cause or help or prevent some mental health going on there. Social factors is another one. Are you exercising? Are you sleeping? What are you eating? And we talked about this in a few different videos. And for me, what has worked is eating clean. So about 90 to 95% of what I eat is clean and organic. And I'm not talking about a 4-course, 5-course, 7-course meal that I'm preparing. It's basics. Like I do a lot of baked oatmeal. The oats, the sugar, the vanilla, the eggs, the filling, whatever fruit filling, or even if it's jelly filling, the salt, everything's organic, and I can make it. That makes me probably a week's worth of breakfast in, you know, so I'm meal planning, even though I'm not much of a meal planner. But it's a good, healthy breakfast, and I'm not tempted to eat something that's not going to benefit my physical body and my mental health. So, and then exercise. I'm still not in a routine. Hold on just a second. Let me get Mr. Gordy. I know, Bubba. Come on. If you guys would, pray for Mr. Gordy. He's deaf. Let me give you a little background on him. He's deaf and blind. He has a pretty significant heart murmur. He's been shot with a BB gun and still has the bullet in him. He's had all of his little knuckles broken. This is just things that we know have happened since we've had him. We adopted him a little over 2 years ago. And now he's got some major issues in his back with some degeneration, and he's on a lot of pain meds right now. So if you have a second, if you'll say a little prayer for him, he means the world to us, as all of ours do. And we are blessed that we've gotten to spend over 2.5 years with him, but we're certainly hoping to get a little bit more time with him. So if you don't mind. I've got a lot of Gordy on my shirt. So let's get back. So social factors: exercise, sleep, food. Sleep has been very difficult for me, and it typically is. Either we sleep too much or we don't sleep enough when we're. And I'm not even in a depressive episode at the moment, and I'm still struggling with sleep. A lot of times I'm up till 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'm up at 5:30 or 6 to let them go potty. And then I do try to lay back down, and sometimes that's successful and sometimes it's not, but typically I'm always back up pretty early in the morning. So all of those factors, you know, when you are not getting enough sleep and you're eating crap food, it's going to affect you, period, whether you struggle with mental health or not. But even more when you are already struggling with mental health and you're just making not good choices because you just don't literally have the energy to deal with making food. It's hard, but those are also factors that can lead to it. Abuse is another one, and we've talked about this: mental, physical, emotional, sexual, verbal. There's lots of different forms, and that can also lead to major depression and anxiety, mental illness for things that have happened, and reliving that. Post-traumatic stress syndrome or things like that can also cause mental health issues. Something as simple as medication, so antibiotics, birth control. There's a list of medicines that can potentially cause depression and anxiety. And if you just watch the TV, any ad that pops up for any medicine, there's a list of potential side effects. That is just the nature of medicine. There's going to be potential side effects, and some of them are mental health related. And if you think about antibiotics and birth control, a lot of people take antibiotics and a lot of people take birth control, and I don't think when they take those that they're thinking really of the side effect. Their doctor recommended it. That's what the doctor believes is the best treatment to help what's going on with you. They're certainly not doing it to harm you. But then the potential side effects can also be depression and anxiety on some medicines. So be alert, be aware, talk with your doctor if you have a concern, and just kind of go from there. I know there's a lot of things that I can't take because it'll interfere, or it could potentially make my depression worse. So that's just part of talking to your doctor. And I've been very blessed that not only do I have a wonderful PCP, but she's also has a degree, her degree in pharmacy. So she's a pharmacist and a doctor, and so she has a lot of knowledge about medicines that are going to potentially interact, and I really hit the jackpot when I found her. And then the last one I wanted to talk about today are major events: death, traumas, tragedies, accidents, things you see, like, so people in first responding type jobs, nurses, doctors, police, fire, EMS, dispatch, rescue, obviously our servicemen and women, you see a lot, and sometimes that's very difficult to deal with. I know television makes it look like those things don't really bother the good guy. You know, they just kind of keep right on going and move on and solve the case or whatever that looks like. And my background is a lot of different things, but for many years it was law enforcement related on the civilian side, and dispatch for a while. I worked in the training division for fire and police for a while. One of my best friends was a police sniper and a SWAT team member. And then on the flip side of that, working for the squad that we work for now in a different responder environment, and working in plastic surgery for a while in the plastic surgery side of things, and then before that the dermatology side of things. And so seeing major traumas from skin cancers and breast cancers, burns, knife wounds, deep lacerations, domestic abuse, just different things like that. You see a lot, and so those things can also affect you. Ways to help. So understand that what you're doing as someone who loves someone with mental health concerns is, we see you, right? And for a lot of us, sometimes we almost try to push you away because we don't want to hurt you. I can say now, and I have said this for a long time, I don't want anyone to feel what I have felt and live through what I have lived through and understand the depths of my depression. I don't want anyone to have to process that. It's a lot, it's hard, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I know I've done it before. I'll push people I love away because I don't want you to see and feel and hear and understand what's going on in my mind, because I don't want you to live like that. I don't want you to feel that. And we see you. We do see you. Even if we can't really even care for ourselves, we do see you. And it is not... We don't want you to think that it's your fault or that there's something more that you can do. How can you help? So, learn about mental illness. You can get on the internet, you can talk to a counselor, talk to a friend, talk to a pastor, talk to someone who has depression and anxiety, and just see what has helped them. Now, that might be different than how it's going to help who you're looking to help, but get some knowledge, right? Get some understanding of what the person that you love and that you're wanting to help is feeling and dealing with and experiencing. Knowledge is wonderful. Knowledge is great. That's partially why I started this channel, so that both sides can have some knowledge to understand mental illness and how to recover and how to help and how to love each other. Love each other through it. Another way is to love them through it. So be there for them. Be someone they can talk to when they want to talk. Be someone who can step away and not just keep at it and just give them a little space to have some time to think about it. It's a hard balance. It is a hard balance. It's not just the person who's having the mental health crisis that needs help. You do as well, because it's a lot. And that person is not going to be able to help you. And if you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you have to spend some time taking care of yourself as well. But you just love them through it, whatever that looks like for you. Sometimes we want you to be with us, we want you to be beside us, and sometimes we just need to be alone. Sometimes we need some responsibility taken off of our shoulders, and sometimes we need some responsibility put on us so that it forces us to take a step, get out of bed, feed the cat, feed the dog, feed yourself, feed the, so it's a balance, and it's going to be different for a lot of people. There's not ABCs of how to love someone through it, but time will tell, and it will help both of you successfully get through it and be able to manage it even better the next time. The third thing is kind of what we touched on. The second one, love yourself. Take care of yourself. Again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're exhausted, because sometimes you're going to have to take the load. So you're going to have to do working full time, getting the groceries, paying the bills, putting the groceries up, mowing the lawn, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, cleaning the house, cleaning the kids, cleaning yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to take the brunt of all that's going on, but you also have to give yourself some love as well. Clearly not in a selfish way, but don't forget that you're important too, and you need to give yourself some love and know that that's truly what we as a depressed person want for you. We don't want you to suffer like we're suffering, and that's why we kind of push you away at times, because we don't want you to feel what we're feeling. Now, sometimes we're embarrassed, we're sad, we're hurt, we're ashamed, and we don't want everyone to see what we're going through. But again, it's a balance, and it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to handle it different. It took probably 7 years for my husband and I for me to be able to open up to him and say, here's what's going on, here's how I'm feeling, and here's how you can help. And it took about that long for him to figure out that I'm not a bad husband, I'm not a bad person. She's having this going on. This is something that I can't take away from her, but I certainly didn't cause it. And all I can do is be there for her, take care of myself, take care of her, take care of everything, and take some load off her, but still be strong enough to handle things. And maybe that's, he likes to go out and ride on the tractor, and that gives him some him time, and he's productive and he's doing something he enjoys. Whatever that looks like for you. It's hard because life's busy and life's demanding, and when you're having to pull even harder of a load, it's even that much more harder. I'm a little hesitant to even say some of these things because I don't want you to think, well, how am I supposed to do that? It's not easy, friends. It's not. And there's certainly nothing wrong with you because you're feeling emotions or you're feeling something about a certain situation. The last thing is ask for help from friends, from family, from a therapist, a counselor, a pastor, someone that you know that you can trust, that isn't going to then tell 14 other people, listen to the good gossip I just learned about Chrissy and her spouse. It's hard enough when you're depressed that you're having to live through it. But then when you feel like everyone around you is talking about it and now has intimate knowledge of things that you've spoke out loud to a trusted source, or things that you spoke in confidence and now other people know it, that's really hard, and that's going to make that person decide that they no longer can trust you and that they're not going to talk to you about anything anymore, because then the whole county or the whole state or the whole family or the whole friend group is going to know. So make sure, talk to someone, but make sure it's a trusted source. And there's very few of those left in this world that you know that you can go to, that conversation is not going to leave between you and that one person. That's why sometimes a therapist and a counselor is a good job, because they're legally bound not to discuss your problem. So that's something to think about too, as well, as far as how to help yourself when you are either living, if it's your spouse, your kid, your father, your mother, someone in your household, or whether it's a friend, of how, please don't think that you're the reason. Now, if you sexually assaulted somebody, then that's one thing. I mean, you probably are the reason that they're having a bad day. If you verbally abuse someone, or if you mentally abuse someone, or if you go and spread wild rumors about someone, then yeah, you could be the reason. But typically, people day to day, nothing that my husband has done, nothing that my dad has done, nothing that my in-laws have done, nothing that anybody in my family or my friend group has done has caused me to struggle for 27 years with depression and anxiety. And I know that even on days that I try to push them away, or I just don't speak about things, that my heart is to not have them feel what I'm feeling and hurt the way I'm hurting, and their heart is to help. So I think it's just understanding one another. And it's different in every situation. My situation and the way that I handle things and the way that I want or don't want help is different than it looks for some other people. So it's not a ABC and this fixes it. That's the thing with depression and anxiety and mental illness. There's a lot of things that have to happen that eventually will lead up to a good outcome, but it's sometimes good seasons, and then it's sometimes harder seasons. And you have to be strong. I encourage you to pray, just to pray. But there's also, to say that you can pray and it's all going to be better, God wants you to put one foot in front of the other. No one's going to swoop in on their white horse and save you from this. So you have to make steps on your own to make things better. But I wanted to just, I do want to get Nick on here one day to talk about kind of his perspective. Nick's a very outgoing, cheerful, happy-go-lucky person, and he's very much extroverted. So we're opposite in that way. I'm introverted, he's extroverted. He could talk to anybody for days and days about anything, and he's usually happy and energetic and loves life. And it's been an adjustment for him to have to learn to have a spouse who suffers like this, but he's done a remarkable job. I hope this helps. I hope that you understand that I would say most of the time that you're not the reason that we're having depression and anxiety. I wish there was a magical answer to make everybody feel better on both sides of the spectrum, but there's not. The only thing I can tell you is just love one another. Give each other grace and just love one another. And pray. And sometimes it's a quick fix, and sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it's a temporary fix, and sometimes you have to adjust and go at it again, you know, if and when it comes again. So I hope this helps. I always end my videos this way. God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. Your friends love you, and you are needed here. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.